A thread by Carlos Osuita. Hat tip Ashley St. Clair. By simply existing, President Trump has the power to produce this. Ashley St. Clair tweeted, "Let's play a game called Is This Woman on Drugs or Just a Democrat? I can't possibly do this video any justice. Big fat psycho woman. Just come check it out." That is comedy gold. What has Trump done to endanger our democratic representative republic? Why, nothing. He strengthened it. He strengthened it by weakening the federal government. Trump is a federalist. Does a single Democrat know what that means? Have you ever watched films of the original hippies? Tons of them come across as totally rational and nice. Link in the thread, late 60s, early 1970s teenage girl groupie, doesn't want to, etc. She wasn't a groupie. Her granddaughter explains her in the comments. Here's my own theory about Western culture. The two world wars did massive psychic damage to all Western cultures. Every single thing we've seen since then is a reaction to those wars. Millions and millions and millions of men with severe PTSD in every single Western culture. World War II gave us the hippies. All those mothers and fathers had lived through 5 years of everything being turned upside down. When it was over, everyone was told to go back to normal and to shut up. Get back in the kitchen, ladies, and go get jobs and have kids, men. Now, I'm not blaming anybody. We simply didn't know any better. Why not? Because these cataclysms were unprecedented. The idea was that the sooner we got back to normal, the sooner we'd get over it. But there are some things you never get over. Trump knows this. That's why he's so resolutely anti-war. But he believes in peace through strength. Both world wars were caused by sheer blindness. The main cause of both wars was imperialism. Imperialism is the forcible expansion of a nation's rule or authority over peoples and other countries for extending political and economic access, power, and control through employing mainly hard power such as military force. Expansionism is imperialism. Most countries have imperialist tendencies. One major power with the least imperialist history, the United States. People jabber endlessly about globalist cabals that don't identify with nation states. Bull. Globalism is imperialism. Each globalist nation is in it for itself. Bankers and arms manufacturers don't start wars, imperialist nations do. But imperialism is secondary to the personal gain of political leaders. It's not necessarily wealth. Hitler and Stalin didn't need money. They owned their entire countries. Although Putin has incalculable personal wealth, it doesn't matter. He has no expenditures. He just has no imagination. Erdogan is worth at least $50 million, nothing to sneeze at. Xi Jinping is worth about 1.5 billion, but again, money is of no use to him. Most political analysis is garbage because the analysts go into it with preconceived notions. That's why none of them can figure out Trump. Since I'm not an ideologue and since I have an open mind, I'm able to perceive Trump clearly. He's unique in the history of politics. So is Vice President Pence. They're a perfect team. Pence is a co-president who cares only about his family, his country, and his faith. He's standing on Mount Everest, but he sees the entire world spread out as if he's on a map. His vision doesn't stop at the horizon. My brother and I both had near-death experiences. We were both guided by a presence that told us to not be afraid. But in all other ways, our experiences were different. My brother had his bowel punctured, and he ended up with a systemic infection and almost died. He was on the other side in a small rowboat on a vast, quiet lake at night. The sky was filled with illuminated geometric shapes, and he was told that they represented the meaning of life. There were shapes up there that represented him, and suddenly he understood everything. When he came back, he couldn't remember what he'd understood. All he remembered was understanding. In my case, my PTSD gave me an irregular heartbeat, the number one cause of cardiac arrest. One night before I knew I had PTSD, my heart went into a spasm, and I died. I went up into the sky and into a black tunnel. At the end of the tunnel was a vista that stretched to infinity in all directions, including down and up. It reminded me of an endless Mediterranean coastal town. All the pieces clicked together, and I grasped the meaning of life. Then I crashed down in my body again. It was like a truck hitting me. My heart had restarted, and I could remember what I'd understood. Pence is seeing what my brother and I saw, but he isn't forgetting, and I couldn't remember what I'd understood. Pence is seeing what my brother and I saw, but he isn't forgetting. Trump sees it too. They know the meaning of life. That's why they're going to win in a landslide. This is Armageddon. But the battle is actually a campaign. It never actually ends. But the fighting gets less and less destructive. No more world wars, for example. As more people become clear headed, the crazies get crazier. Psychotropic meds got rid of my irregular heartbeat. The PTSD is always here, but it's completely manageable. Millions and millions and millions of men have suffered in silence since 1918. I'm not a big proponent of going public with it. You make yourself into a target, but people should definitely seek treatment. We need to change our whole approach to PTSD. It's perfectly legitimate to seek treatment clandestinely. All you need is a solution. Forget raising public awareness. The public are dipshits. No offense. Nobody understands except fellow sufferers and trained professionals, so don't even try to make normies use their putt-putt minds. Sneak around. Let me do the talking. I don't have a job or marriage to lose, and I'm indifferent to the opinions of others. Just accept that most people weren't meant to do or see certain things. My father was a combat veteran of the Korean War, and he loved it. Ferocious hand-to-hand combat left him unscathed. But most of us aren't like that. Just think of it this way. Societal PTSD is going the way of the saber-toothed cat. Smilodon fatalis. The only thing we have to worry about in the future is feral hogs. I read somewhere that in a few years, these things will be 6 feet tall at the shoulder and capable of running 70 miles per hour. Antifa versus giant feral pigs in Portland and Seattle. No police and no National Guard. And no guns, of course.
I will be the greatest president that God ever created.
Addendum. Damn it. When I came back from my near death experience, I could not remember what I'd understood. I need a new brain. Huey Lewis and the News. I want a new drug. All right, let's try that again.
Look, I'm really rich.
Okay, maybe one more.